tonight. My name is Pauline Okolie. The state government has called on land grabbers to avoid selling lands that do not belong to them. The special advisor to the governor on peace building and conflict resolution, Chief Edwin Uzo, made a call during a meeting with representatives of Fountain City Umodafe Landlords and Tenants Association at his office in Asaba. Henry Unogwa reports.
The meeting, which bordered on alleged conspiracy and forceful takeover of land belonging to Umodafe Landlords and Tenants Association, brought occupants together to pour out their minds on the issues at stake. Chief Uzo frowned at the way land grabbers had promoted crisis in communities, adding that the alleged takeover of land belonging to Fountain City Umodafe Landlord and Tenant Association by P1 Plus, a real estate company, and some prominent members of the community was unacceptable. He also condemned the alleged breaking and demolition of buildings belonging to the petitioners at the site, enjoining those involved to desist from promoting crisis in the state.
Very painful when somebody has suffered over many years, gather money and acquire land for him to develop and live. In course of developing, another story comes. It's very, very painful. It's not healthy. But we cannot go on now to blame those parties they've mentioned, but to hear from them. We need to hear from those parties, to be able to know who is in the right position and who is the right thing.
Chief Uzo urged those with grievances to maintain peace, saying the state government would invite the other parties to hear their own side of the matter. Earlier, Mr. Larry Olisa, a lawyer, on behalf of the petitioners, narrated their ordeal and appealed to the state government to intervene in the matter.
No sense of humility to plead with you. This is just one of the steps we are going to take.
Henry Onogwa reporting.
Ijaw political leaders in the state have passed a vote of confidence on Right Honorable Sheriff Oborewori for his outstanding performance. This was part of the resolutions reached at the maiden meeting held in Asaba, presided over by the Speaker, Right Honorable Emomotimi Guo. Favor Okafor reports.
The group, comprising politicians of Ijaw extractions in the state as well as elected and appointed public service holders, in a communique at the meeting, thanked Governor Sheriff Oborewori for approving and citing some major projects in the Ijaw areas of the state. The leader of the forum and Speaker of the State House of Assembly, the Right Honorable Emomotimi Guo, expressed optimism that the governor will do more in pursuance of his more agenda and solicited the continued support of the Ijaw people to his administration.
The governor recently approved a lot of projects in the Ijaw area, cut across some of our local governments, and one of which is the Ayakomo Bridge, and then that's a landmark project. The entire Ijaw nation is eager to see that project come into completion. The governor also approved a 18-kilometer road in Warri Southwest that cut across some communities, a concrete pavement road of 18 kilometers running from Okarikoko to Pepama to Kodeabone.
The Speaker had earlier called for a minute's silence in honor of the fallen hero, Chief Edwin Clark. The meeting had in attendance a cross-section of political leaders from the Ijaw ethnic nationality in the state, including the Vice Chairman of PDP Delta South, Prince Ima Agbaduba, Senior Policy Advisor to the Governor, Chief Funke Keme Solomon, serving and former members of the State Assembly, serving and former commissioners in the State Council Chairman, the Principal Secretary to the Governor, Mrs. Lina Ocholo, Special Advisors and Executive Assistants, amongst others. Favor Okafor reporting.
The Chief Advisor to the State Governor, Chief Iyoyota Mori, has promised to discharge his duties by offering strategic advice that would be beneficial to Deltans and Dandem with the governor's more agenda. Chief Amori gave the assurance when he resumed duty at his office in Asaba. Chief Amori said he was prepared to bring his wealth of experience in ensuring that the confidence the state governor, Right Honorable Sheriff Oborewori, reposed in him was not taken for granted. He said the position was a call to service to the realization of the administration's cardinal goals. The Deputy Speaker of the Delta State House of Assembly, Right Honorable Arthur Akbowo, described Chief Amori as a trusted founding member of the People's Democratic Party (PDP), who has weathered the storm and remained steadfast as the leader of the party, and assured him of the maximum support from both elected and appointed government officials. Earlier in his sermon, Reverend Father Christopher Ekabo harped on the need for public office holders to put the interest of the people above self, as exemplified by Jesus Christ. Special prayers were rendered for Governor Oborevwori and Chief Amori. A hotline for whistleblowers to report cases of poor project execution within their localities have been launched. The State Commissioner for Works, Rural Roads and Public Information, Mr. Charles Aniagu, launched a hotline while briefing newsmen in Asaba. Esther Oputa has details.
Mr. Charles Aniagu, flanked by the Chief Press Secretary to the Governor, Sir Festus Ahon, and the Executive Assistant to the Governor on Public Enlightenment, Mr. Olisei Fejika, said Governor Oborevwori was poised to give Deltans value for their money, hence the need to have a close partnership with the people to ensure credibility of projects across the state, as projects worth over 275 billion naira were approved during the last state ESCO meeting. He said Governor Sheriff Oborevwori had mandated him to monitor projects in all sectors of government alongside journalists in order to carry Deltans along in the activities of government and to also hold public servants and contractors accountable and promote effective service delivery. He reiterated government's commitment to infrastructural development in all parts of the state, listing projects approved and embarked on by the governor to include the 7 storm water drainage to reduce flooding in the capital city, while disclosing that there will be construction of structures close to the River Niger to open up the waterfront, charging Deltans to be fully involved by availing the government the needed information.
We have begun the process of getting contractors to bid for a number of those projects that were approved. Even as those that we reviewed upwards on account of fluctuation in terms of prices or possible additional works, have already commenced the process of ensuring that those projects are brought back to life.
The commissioner said the identities of whistleblowers will be protected and commended those who had already called to give information, revealing that in less than 24 hours of the number being made available to the public, calls had come in from various parts of the state. Mr. Aniagu, who gave the hotlines as 091-699-78305, said it was for SMS and WhatsApp messages only, to allow for pictorial and video evidence of the reported poorly executed projects.
Our people in Delta, we want them to be able to interact with government. If any project in your community is going on and you feel that either the contractor or the supervising ministry is performing below what you see or believe it should be the standard, our whistleblower line is for you to be able to reach out.
Present at the briefing were journalists from across the state and beyond. Esther Oputa reporting.
The groundbreaking ceremony of the State Ministry of Transport for the construction of training school building for chief drivers and operations has been held. The ceremony was anchored by the State Commissioner for Transport, Mr. Honoriode Agofure, at the Directorate of Transport, Asaba. Henry Unogwa reports.
Mr. Agofure said the ongoing project marks the official start of construction of new building for the ministry, adding that it signifies the beginning of a new phase for the organization by laying the foundation for their new physical space. He lauded the state governor, Right Honorable Sheriff Oborevwori, for approving the funds for the construction, while noting that the Asaba Study Center of the Chief Drivers Training School presently runs in a hall at the Osadeni Smith Secondary School building, which he said was not conducive. The Transport Commissioner noted that the ongoing project demonstrated the commitment of Governor Sheriff Oborevwori to the career and welfare of drivers in the state and thanked him for keeping to his promises.
The project will no doubt encourage drivers at various levels to achieve their desired dream, because stagnation of drivers' promotion will be a thing of the past. And I charge the contractor to deliver the project to specification at the stipulated time. In 90 days' time, which is about 3 months' time, so hopefully by 3 months' time we'll be here to officially commission the project.
Mr. Godfrey also commended the contractor handling the project, Chinook Maple Global, for prompt mobilization to site and joining him to deliver the project to specification and at the stipulated time. The site supervisor for the project, Mr. Kevin Udoma, described the project as a welcome development and gave an assurance that the project would be completed in May this year. Henry Onogwa reporting.
Parents, teachers, and faith-based organizations have been called upon to partner with the state government in the drug-free Delta campaign with the theme Drug Kills. Say no to drug abuse. The wife of the state governor, Dikines Oborevwori, made the appeal at the grand finale of the first phase of the campaign tour by the State Orientation and Communications Bureau in conjunction with the Delta State Command of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, to select 2 secondary schools across the 3 senatorial districts of the state. The event held at the John Hall in Orerope, local government area. The report.
Dikines Oborevwori, represented by Dr. Fidelia Igrakpata, said it was heartbreaking to see children and youths who ought to be doing well wallowing in the use of illicit drugs with its mental and physical consequences, adding that parents, especially mothers, must take up the responsibility of standing in the gap for the future of the youths. She commended the campaign team led by the Director General of the State Orientation and Communications Bureau, Dr. Fred Ogenesiwe, and top officials of the Delta State Command of the NDLEA for the huge success recorded in the phase 1 of the campaign, pledging the continued support of the UMATA Charity Foundation, especially in the area of counseling and rehabilitation for victims. The Director General of the Orientation and Communications Bureau, Dr. Fred Ogenesiwe, in his address said the sensitization campaign had recorded visits to 28 secondary schools across the 3 senatorial districts of the state, disclosing that the second phase would incorporate tertiary institutions. He thanked Governor Sheriff Oborevwori for his commitment to the drug-free Delta project, especially in the provision of brand new operational vehicles to facilitate the apprehending of local and interstate drug peddlers and hawkers. There were lectures against drug abuse by the commander of the NDLEA in the state, Mr. Silas Omobude, and the chairman of the Delta State Advisory and Peace Building Council, Professor Sam Oyowaire. There were also talks by representatives of the Oroje of Okpe, Orue the First, the State Commissioner for Health, Dr. Joseph Onojaime, the State Commissioner of Police, Mr. Olufemi Abaniwanda, the Special Advisor to the Governor on Women Development, Chief Eunice Anira, and the Chairman of the Okpe Local Government, Sir Isaiah Esiowa. The occasion drew traditional rulers, religious leaders, and other stakeholders from the public and civil service, the National Orientation Agency, and the education sector, among others.
President Bola Tinubu has pledged to redouble his commitment to safeguarding the environment and championing policies that will ensure the health and well-being of the people. President Bola Tinubu stated this during the maiden edition of the National Environment Health Excellence Award, NEHEA, organized by the Environmental Health Council of Nigeria, EHCON, in Abuja. The president was represented by the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Senator George Akume, noted that the government alone cannot address environmental challenges. He stressed that it is a collective responsibility, ranging from farmers adopting climate-smart techniques to corporations investing in green technology, stating that environmental stewardship is not a burden, but an opportunity to redefine progress. President Tinubu commended EHCON for its unwavering dedication to improving the nation's environmental health standards and practices. The President was awarded the title of Grand Patron of the National Environment and Public Health Association of Nigeria, NEPHAN, and Life Fellow of the Society for Environmental and Public Health of Nigeria, SEPHON. The event also featured the unveiling of the National Environmental Health Practice Regulations 2025 and the inauguration of the Premises-Based National Greenhouse Gases GHGS Emission Monitoring Program. The federal government has warned retailers and traders to adjust their prices to reflect current market realities, emphasizing the need for fairness in easing financial burden on Nigerians. The Minister of Agriculture and Food Security, Mr. Abubakar Kyari, issued this warning while speaking at the 2025 Wheat Farmers Greenfield Day in Dabi Village, Ringin local government area, Jigawa State. Mr. Kyari said the federal government was aware of the significant drop in the prices of essential commodities such as flour, sugar, rice, and spaghetti across major markets. The IF expressed concern that many retailers, bakers, and shop owners had refused to pass on these reductions in prices to consumers, denying Nigerians the relief they deserve. The minister reaffirmed government's commitment to making food affordable and assured continued engagement with relevant stakeholders to address the issue. Mr. Kyari also commended President Bola Tinubu for his unprecedented commitment to agricultural development, stating that the ministry remains fully aligned with the Renewed Hope agenda. He promised continuous implementation of programs in line with the President's vision for the agricultural sector, ensuring that farmers would receive necessary support to enhance food security and combat inflation. The Federal Ministry of Education has commenced a nationwide monitoring and evaluation campaign aimed at eradicating miracle center schools that facilitate exam malpractice. During an on-the-spot assessment visit to Redeemer Tip International School in Abuja by the team lead, Ms. Rukayat Ibrahim, emphasized that the initiative sought to ensure that schools adhere to ethical examination practice. A Deputy Director at the Federal Education Quality Assurance Service, Mrs. Ibrahim, reiterated the ministry's determination to eliminate such unethical practices nationwide. She noted that its efficiency enables the ministry to cover more schools and promptly report findings to the management for swift action. The termly evaluation aimed to enhance the quality of education in primary and secondary schools across the country. The ministry's assessment criteria include skills development, conducive learning environments, adequate classroom space, well-equipped laboratories, ICT facilities, health clinics, and proper perimeter fencing, among others. The House of Representatives has urged relevant federal government agencies to enforce stricter penalties against homicide and femicide in Nigeria, while highlighting the increasing cases of homicide, including murder, manslaughter, and other violent crimes, which have sparked public outcry for justice across the country. It stated that the right to life is a fundamental human right enshrined in the Constitution. The House also called on religious organizations, the National Orientation Agency, the Ministry of Women Affairs, and advocacy groups to launch public awareness campaigns promoting ethical values, respect for human life, and educating young people on the dangers of ritual killings, murder, and manslaughter. Following the adoption of the motion, the House urged the National Judicial Council to establish special divisions within existing courts at all levels to swiftly handle homicide, femicide, and related cases. It said ethical enlightenment through public awareness campaigns focusing on instilling values on respect for human life, along with integration of emotional intelligence programs to help young people develop non-violent problem-solving skills could help curb this menace. The military has announced plans to release 381 rehabilitated ex-terrorists in March 2025, urging state governments to ensure their proper reintegration through monitoring and empowerment programs. Speaking at a stakeholders meeting in Abuja, the Chief of Defense Staff, General Christopher Musa, said a total of 789 ex-combatants were undergoing rehabilitation, with 381 expected to graduate this year. Represented by the Chief of Defense Policy and Plans, Air Vice Marshal Shayi Olatunde, General Musa stressed the need for proper reintegration of the repentant terrorists to sustain the gains made by Operation Safe Corridor. He urged the state governments to play an active role in the transition process by deploying security measures to track and monitor reintegrated individuals. General Ali disclosed that between July and November 2024, 825 new clients, including 14 foreigners from Burkina Faso, Cameroon, Chad, and Niger, were transferred to the de-radicalization, rehabilitation, and reintegration camp for training. He noted that 22 clients who require further psychological evaluation were transferred to the Federal Neuropsychiatric Hospital, Maiduguri. The Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission, ICPC, has partnered the Nigerian Correctional Service, NCOS, to fight against corruption. Both agencies outlined key strategies for collaboration to strengthen anti-corruption efforts during a meeting between the Acting Controller General of NCOS, Mr. Sylvester Ndidimwa Buche, and his team, and the Chairman of ICPC, Dr. Musa Aliyu SAN, at the ICPC headquarters in Abuja. Dr. Aliyu expressed appreciation to the NCOS boss for the visit and highlighted crucial areas of collaboration, particularly in sensitization, training, and the signing of a Memorandum of Understanding, MOU.
If tanker wey carry fuel fall or pipe wey carry fuel for underground burst, wetin you go do? You go begin bail fuel put for your bucket, or you go run comot far far for where the fire go soon come. Na only small time you get to take this wise decision. Waka comot, no, that one no dey enough. Shift, no, that one no dey enough. Stay there dey gist and take pictures with your phone. That na madness. Run, yes, run comot. Yes, your life depend on wetin you do. The fire go come at once and you no go fit control am. Why? Petrol dey catch fire easily. Why? Na just small spark go start big fire. So don't stay there dey think. Run comot quick to save your life. No throw away your life away because of say you wan pack petrol. Take this advice. This informate
na from Public Enlightenment Office, Delta Broadcasting Service, Asaba.
Welcome back to Delta Television News. Avian influenza, popularly known as bird flu, has killed 300 birds on a farm in Plateau State. The Chief Veterinary Officer of the state, Mr. X. Sipak, disclosed this to the News Agency of Nigeria, NAN. Mr. Sipak said that the outbreak was confirmed by the National Veterinary Research Institute, NVRI-VOM, in Jos. He also stated that the affected farm was located in Basa local government area of that state. Mr. Sipak called on poultry farmers in that state to take stringent biosecurity measures to prevent the spread. The state monthly environmental sanitation exercise we hold across the state on Saturday, February 22, between the hours of 7 and 10 a.m. A statement signed by the Director of Public Communication and Functioning Permanent Secretary, Mrs. Teresa Oliko, says there will be restriction of vehicle and human movements during the exercise. The statement adds that the Commissioner for Environment, top officials of the ministry, and other relevant authorities will monitor the exercise across the state, while officials of the State Waste Management Board and local government officials will evacuate the resultant refuse to approved dump sites. He warned that persons loitering or found not taking part in the exercise will be brought before the mobile magistrate courts for persecution and fined accordingly. You're watching Delta Television News at 8, still to come. President Donald Trump expresses disappointment over Ukraine's president's reaction on ending war with Russia. Please stay with us. We'll be back.
Your TV doesn't mean buying a new one. Unbelievable, right? But with the new Airtel Smart Router, you can now watch YouTube on any TV and also get unlimited data for 30 days to stream thrilling Nollywood movies, catch up on football highlights, and keep your kids engaged with edutainment all on YouTube. With the Airtel Smart Router, everyone gets what they love. Get the Smart Router plus unlimited data for 25,000 Naira. Visit the nearest Airtel shop to get yours. Airtel, a reason to imagine.
Conference. The Office of the Special Advisor to the Governor on Livestock Heathers and Interethnic Relations is organizing a one-day conference aimed at developing a blueprint for harmonious relationship between farmers and herdsmen for sustainable development. Theme: cultivating cooperation, bridging interethnic farmers and livestock headers divides towards sustainable development. Date: Monday, 24th February 2025. Venue: Unity Hall, Government House, Asaba. Time: 11 a.m. Those to attend the conference include the Commissioner of Police, Delta State, the State Director of the Department of State Security, DSS, representatives of the Arawa and Fulani communities, community leaders and farmers residing in the state capital. Come, let's reason together as we work to actualize the moral agenda of our dynamic governor, His Excellency, Right Honorable Sheriff Oborowari. The Office of the Special Advisor to the Governor on Livestock Headers and Interethnic Relations, promoting understanding, cooperation, peace and development is our goal. Signed, Chief Jeffrey Azaba, Special Advisor to the Delta State Governor on Livestock Heathers and Interethnic Relations.
We all have big dreams, so start up your own. Download and control your life with Glow Cafe, the interactive self-service app. Free activation bonus lets you post your content online. Get additional data allowing you to gift and share data. 100% bonus on every recharge lets you unlock your creativity, recharge airtime, and enjoy live support chat with Gloria. Special data bundles let you turn that demo into song of the year.
I got C's with Glow Cafe, my ski they play, my ski they play. I got C's with Glow Cafe.
Extra awoof data in the Glow Cafe app lets you link up and unlock your ambition. Inspired, let's turn that movie script into the next blockbuster. Don't delay. Download the Glow Cafe app today and start your own collaboration. Glow Unlimited.
Welcome you back to Delta Television News. The global scene is next as we join our World News Desk.
President Donald Trump has taken aim at Ukraine after his president, Volodymyr Zelensky, said it was a surprise his country would not be invited to talks in Saudi Arabia on ending the war with Russia. He said he was disappointed by the reaction. He appeared to blame Ukraine for starting the war, saying the country could have made a deal earlier. A full-scale Russia invasion sparked the war in Ukraine almost 3 years ago. Earlier, Russia Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov met United States Secretary of State Mr. Marco Rubio in Riyadh for the first high-level face-to-face talks between the two countries since the invasion, and agreed to appoint teams to start negotiating the end of the war. The minister said his country would not accept peacekeeping forces from NATO countries in Ukraine under any peace deal, a proposal raised at a meeting of European members of NATO in Paris on Monday. European NATO states who remain committed to supporting Ukraine against Russia have been smarting at being sidelined by Mr. Trump's unilateral peace initiative, which reserved the resolutely pro-Ukraine policy of his predecessor as President Joe Biden. Former Brazilian President Jair Bolsonaro has been charged by the country's chief prosecutor with attempting a coup after he was defeated in the 2022 presidential election. The 69-year-old was handed 5 charges over the alleged bid to prevent his successor, President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva, from taking office after a bitter election race. The charges included allegations that he planned to poison Lula and shot dead Supreme Court Justice Alexandre de Moraes. Mr. Bolsonaro denies wrongdoing and says he is the victim of political persecution. The prosecutor's advice will now be considered by the Supreme Court. If accepted, Mr. Bolsonaro and 33 others will be formally charged and will have to face trial. The former president was banned from running for office for 8 years after being accused of undermining Brazilian democracy by falsely claiming that electronic ballots used in the October 2022 poll were vulnerable to hacking and fraud. The Uganda Health Minister, Mrs. Ruth J., said 8 people have been discharged after they recovered from Ebola, although at least 265 contacts remain under quarantine. The East Africa country declared an outbreak of the highly infectious and often fatal hemorrhagic disease late last month after one man, a male nurse at the Mulago National Referral Hospital in Kampala, died. She said in the capital Kampala as well as in Jinja Mbale, 2 cities in eastern Uganda, are under strict monitoring quarantine for 21 days from the time of their contact or exposure to the index case. Uganda's latest Ebola outbreak was caused by the Sudan strain of the virus. Ebola symptoms include fever, headache, and muscle pains. The virus is transmitted through contact with infected bodily fluids and tissues.
Away from the foreign scene, let's now join our business news desk for happenings in the business sector.
The National Bureau of Statistics has introduced special inflation in the consumer index price (CPI) report. The Statistician General of Adeyemi Adeniran made this known at a news briefing on the CPI rebasing results in Abuja. Mr. Adeniran said the new indices include the Farm Produce Index, Energy Index, Services Index, Goods Index, and Imported Food Index. He said this was in line with improvements made to the rebasing of the CPI, which he said will inform policymakers. According to him, the new indices have been introduced based on demand and requests from stakeholders. Mr. Adeniran noted that the rates of the new indices were not year-on-year rates like the CPI rates because they were new. He said their year-on-year rates will commence from January 2026, while the month-on-month rates will commence in February 2025. Amid efforts to sanitize the financial sector, the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, has directed all banks and financial institutions to publicly disclose details of dormant accounts, unclaimed balances, and other financial assets on their official websites. The Apex Bank disclosed in a recent circular titled Guidelines on Management of Dormant Accounts, Unclaimed Balances, and Other Financial Assets in Bank and Other Financial Institutions in Nigeria. According to the circular, banks are expected to publish details of dormant accounts, unclaimed balances, and other financial assets on their website and at least 2 in national newspapers. This directive follows an earlier order issued by CBN on July 19, 2024, mandating banks and financial institutions to transfer unclaimed balances and dormant account funds to the Apex Bank's designated accounts.
In sports, over 600 athletes from the 6 states in the southwest geopolitical zone will feature in the zonal elimination competition for the upcoming National Sports Festival. The Southwest Zonal Director of the National Sports Commission, Ms. Evelyn Fabumi, while disclosing this in Ibadan, Oyo State, said the competition would hold at 2 venues in the city. She noted that the facilities at the Obafemi Awolowo Stadium and the Ilaji Sports Resort have been approved for the competition by the Commission. Ms. Fabumi said the competition had been scheduled by the Commission to hold simultaneously across the country's 6 geopolitical zones, and it will feature 8 ball games. She listed the ball games to be competed for at both venues in Ibadan as basketball, hockey, cricket, football, handball, volleyball, abila, and beach volleyball. Ms. Fabumi said each of the participating 6 states was expected to present athletes for the 8 games at the competition holding from Sunday to February 28. The zonal director said competitions in the cricket, football, and basketball games will take place at the Obafemi Awolowo Stadium, while hockey, volleyball, abila, handball, and beach volleyball will hold at the Ilaji Sports Resort. She added that the competitions would begin with technical meetings for each sport, from where the officials would produce fixtures for the games. The participating states are Ogun, Osun, and Ekiti, Oyo, Lagos, and Ondo states. Winners and second-place teams in each of the 8 games at the zonal eliminations across the country will qualify for the 22nd National Sports Festival scheduled for Ogun. The festival, tagged 2024 Gateway Games, is slated for May 16 to May 30. And still in sports, the leadership of the Nigerian Football Federation (NFF) has not announced any decision on whether or not the Flying Eagles are staying on in camp till their CAF African Nations Cup finals in Côte d'Ivoire in April. The Flying Eagles resumed 10-day camping on Monday, February 10, for 2-legged friendly matches with Egypt, but last Thursday's CAF Under-20 AFCON draw saw the 2 African giants pitched together in the same camp, in the same group. The Nigerian Under-20 team were drawn in Group B alongside Egypt, Morocco, and South Africa. The pairing affected the scheduled friendlies, which was later called off. Despite this new development, the NFF has not told the officials of the team whether or not the camp will close after initial 10-day camping plan, or they will continue till April when the AFCON finals commences. The Ibrahim Guzo-led NFF has promised early camping for all national teams, according to him. This is to give the coaching crew the opportunity and ample time to prepare their lads better for the competition ahead. A thought for the day. A true sign of intelligence is understanding that other people may have opinions that differ from yours, and do not attack or debate them over it. A quick look at the highlights before we go. The state government has called on land grabbers to avoid selling lands that do not belong to them. The special advisor to the governor on peace building and conflict resolution, Chief Edwin Uzo, made a call during a meeting with representatives of the Fountain City Umuadafe Landlords Tenants Association at his office in Asaba. Ijaw political leaders in the state have passed vote of confidence on Right Honorable Sheriff Uborewori for his outstanding performance. This was part of the resolutions reached at the maiden meeting held in Asaba, presided over by the Speaker, Right Honorable Emomotimi Guo. President Bola Tinubu has pledged to redouble his commitment to safeguarding the environment and championing policies that will ensure the health and well-being of the people. President Tinubu stated this during the maiden edition of the National Environment Health Excellence Award, NEHEA, organized by the Environmental Health Council of Nigeria, EHCON, in Abuja, And abroad, President Donald Trump expresses disappointment over Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky's reaction on ending war with Russia. And that's our news tonight. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Pauline Okoli. Good night.
TV doesn't mean buying a new one. Unbelievable, right? But with the new Airtel Smart Router, you can now watch YouTube on any TV and also get unlimited data for 30 days to stream thrilling Nollywood movies, catch up on football highlights, and keep your kids engaged with edutainment all on YouTube. With the Airtel